Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Monday, November 6th. It is 6:21 right now. Market's gonna open in about 9 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a couple of things here to update and we should be good to go. So, few more things here. And it looks like we are good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. There. There. So I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. And we'll get started shortly. All right, as people start to join in, I'm going to go ahead and start market liquidity over here on our liquidity chart. So let's see. Start marking out right here. Sorry guys, 1 second. Guys, so it looks like majority of people are making their way in right now. I'm marking liquidity over here on the 8-hour. And we're going down to the 4-hour. And we're going down to the 2-hour. Going down to the 1-hour. There's some lag with trading view right now, as you guys can see, which is fine. Today's Monday, so expect unusual to happen today, as it typically does happen. So, all right, we're down with the down to the 30-minute. I'm gonna change the color of liquidity there. Going down to the 15. Down to the 10-minute. And we're in a crazy range right now. So I'm just looking at where price is currently at, like not even a range, it's like consolidation. So you can see over here, if you zoom in very closely, price has not gone anywhere in a couple hours. So, all right, guys, there goes liquidity right there. Marked up all liquidity from the daily down to the 1 minute. So good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, November 6th. It is 6:26 right now. Market's going to open in about 4 minutes. As you guys can see, price is in a very, very heavy range right now. There's liquidity above right here, but it's pretty close. It's at 34,174, which is going to be right here. I'll mark it up for you. But again, like I mentioned, guys, you know, you guys can see how far the ranges here, or the liquidity, not liquidity, the consolidation. So like you can see how far I put the 1030 right here. It's a pretty big move compared to where price is currently at. So you probably want to wait for the market to kind of stabilize a bit before you start looking for anything. But anyways, there goes the markups over there for the liquidity. So first level is at 34,174. Lower level over here is at 34,136. Looks like majority of you guys are here so far. So good morning, everybody. Morning, Barack. Good to see you here. Let's see who else is here so far. Morning, Valentine. Morning, Nikki. Morning, Shannon. Morning, Maria. Morning, Craig. Morning, Delicia. Kenny, Johnny, Daniel, everybody. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. I'm ready to kick this week off. Last week was kind of very rocky due to the market conditions, NFP. I'm hoping this week's going to be a lot smoother, but we'll see. Looking at where the market is right now, it's not looking so great, but we'll play it by ear. So, all right, guys, market is going to open up shortly. Andreas, morning. All right, so I got the times marked up right there. This is our main chart. Let me go over here real quick. Let's see if there was any news this morning. So there's news at 9 o'clock, which is fine. It's going to be the Fed going to speak at 9 o'clock. Fed Cook. No other news this morning. It's pretty much empty. Looking over here at pre-market, fundamentals are currently neutral right now. Looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 63% short. This indicates that 63% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So we typically want to do the opposite and buy. So today's overall bias, retail sentiment is currently bullish. It's 63% short. Fundamental bias is currently neutral. Short-term technicals, long-term technicals. Take a look at that real quick. Looking over here at short-term is currently, I'm going to say neutral right now. It's bearish. I'll say bearish neutral. And long-term is bullish neutral. So bearish neutral. There's just no there's no bias right now, to say the least. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, guys, market is going to open in about 15 seconds. We're getting some increased volatility right here. You can see the lower liquidity got tapped real quick pre-market. Obviously wouldn't have taken it just yet, but it got tapped right there. So what I'll do here is we'll follow it and we'll see what happens. Looking over here, we currently have a sell signal. Market is now open. Huge volatility. I'd probably be careful, guys, with entering any trades right now because, obviously the market was just going sideways for a very long time. You're probably gonna get a lot of manipulation here on open. So yeah, crazy spike right there on open. So this candle right here just spiked up. I would definitely sit out of the market for a bit. This candle spiking up like 700 pips. It's going crazy right now, super high up. Yeah, I definitely don't recommend you guys chase that. So we'll let the market stabilize a bit. Market pretty much swung up super high. It hit pretty much all liquidity up top. So if you guys took any of the liquidity right here, there's a ton of levels right there. Like liquidity just got wiped, this whole area. So depending if you guys took any of these levels here, there's a ton of levels here you guys could have taken, but I wouldn't have recommended any of them. I mean, unless you just went for the first one, of course, but now I would not recommend taking any entries here. So just wait a bit, guys. Let the market stabilize. It's going to stabilize eventually. It's just going to be a matter of time until it does. So we will wait and see where this goes. I'll start market opening price on the other charts too, because I think it's important that we know where it's at. So I'll mark this up over here on our high-low scalp V2 chart. Mark it up right here as well. You know, on this clean chart over here, I'm going to start marking up zones as well, so that we can kind of have an idea of like, you know, where these rejections will probably going to happen at. So I'll go there at the 4 hour, go down to the 1 hour. And TradingView is really laggy today, if you guys can tell. It takes forever for the indicators to get loaded up. So price pretty much just pushed up to this level right here where it was already anticipated to reject off. So let's go on the 4 hour and the 1 hour. We'll go back to the 1 minute. Price is actually at a resistance right now at this area. This is the 1 hour resistance. And now it is coming down super heavy. Yeah, Patricia said something's up with everything. Everything's lagging, including Apex. So guys, just be careful in the market if you guys are looking to take any trades. You know, the market right now is not moving smooth at all. So you want to be careful with any of your entries. So there goes the area of resistance up there. We got an area of support down here. This is our clean chart. ATR is currently 6 right now, so the volatility should not be this high. You guys can see the ATR is currently 6, so it's not, this isn't normal how it's currently moving right now. So just keep that in mind, guys. ATR is currently at 6. It should not be moving this. I mean, it's just one candle that kind of just spiked up, but the actual movement of price right now is currently at, well, now it's at 15 ATR because they included this last candle. But the ATR just shifted. It shifted because of these new candles right here. So it shifted like within the last minute because the ATR here, it will depend on what your settings are. The default settings are the past 14 candles. So the average of the past 14 candles, including this huge candle, has now increased to 15. But before it was, because it took the average of these candles back here, these very small ones. That's why it was at like 5. So it went from 5 to 15 super quickly. So if you guys take any liquidity, that's where liquidity's at. Yeah, the ATR just shifted super heavy right there. All right, anyways, we're just gonna watch it and wait for the market to kind of stabilize a bit. It might just range around this area up here, but we'll see what happens in the next few moments or so. No new zones. There's no momentum pullback scalp entries. Technically, the breakout V2 would have happened right here, but it's not one that I'd recommend taking, of course, because of the massive move to the upside. But this is technically the breakout 2 entry right now. The momentum counter scalp just came up right here too. So the momentum counter scalp and the breakout V2 or the momentum counter scalp already hit TP right there. So if anybody caught the momentum counter scalp, it was right there. We had a buy signal, 2 red candles right here. The entry would happen right here, and it would have went down straight to TP immediately on open. So if anybody caught that, that was the momentum counter scalp. I'll add that to the spreadsheet. So momentum counter scalp came up right here at 633. I mean, I wouldn't have taken it, but for the people who want to take it, aka William, William loves that entry. The momentum counter scalp has actually been on a pretty hot win streak right now. You guys can see it's been winning pretty much every day for the past about 7 days. It's on a 7-day winning streak right now for whoever is taking that entry. It was for a sell when yeah, so the momentum counter scalp is currently on a winning streak. The breakout V2 looks like it would have lost. I mean, I wouldn't have taken it. So, and I don't think anybody here would have taken it after that huge green candle. I think a sell would make more sense here because it's got to retrace. So let's see. Gian said it would have lost on MC4 though. How would it have lost, Gian? Let me see. I don't see how it would lose. I went straight to TP and it came back down, Gian. I mean, even if you got in on a later entry, it still would have hit. $6.30. I'm looking at MT4. It's exactly the same, Gio. I'm not sure how is it different. I'm looking at these two candles. The entry would have happened right here on the green candle. It's exactly the same. You're on FTMO, aren't you? Because if you're on FTMO, it should be exactly the same. I don't see how it would be different. Because either way, the candle movement, I mean, so here's the thing, Gio, like with this right here, it doesn't matter if it's like even that much different. It never got close to the stop loss. So I don't know. Does anybody see it different on MT4? Because it looks exactly the same to me. I think Gian, unless you're on a different platform, yeah, Kip said with spread, it wouldn't have hit right away. Yeah, I agree with that. But it would have came back down. So eventually it would have hit when it came back down a second time. But I'm just curious, like if yours, because if Gian's is really different, I'm curious what's different about it. Because usually the data will be different, but it's not that much different. It's not like a completely different candle. Like you're not going to have like this is a green candle right here. You're not going to see this like way up here, right? Because if it was way up here, then there's probably something wrong with your data, Gio. You got to make some changes or contact your broker. Because if that's the case, then you gotta make sure because you don't want to be taking the trades off TradingView if it's like that much different. But I don't know. I can't tell because mine looks pretty much the same. But anyways, back to let me just finish doing this, guys. I'm getting sidetracked right now. All right, so I think this is for the other entry. Let me just recount it real quick. It's fine. So we're not taking any other entries, but okay, this one came up at 6:35 and it was a loss. So 6:35 over here. I mean, yeah, if you want to get that sorted, Gian, just let me know and then we'll try to figure it out. But I'm not sure like how yours is different. 6:23, 6:36 was for a buy, loss at 250. Yeah, because I know Gion's been having a lot of issues with his, but it shouldn't be. Because if all of ours is the same and Gion's is the only one that's different, I might need to check the server. Because you can change servers too. I mean, there's a main server, but then there's different data points that you can also pull from. So, all right, well, once Gian gets that figured out, we'll come back and take a look. But as of now, there's nothing for us to take here to begin with. There's no buy signal here, so we can't take any momentum pullback scalps. There's no entries over here for any high-low scalp V2s. Closest level is going to be up there for a buy. It's nowhere near it. So there's no entries for us here. You can see prices coming back down. Target price point for this is going to be opening price right here. Looks like a high-low momentum scalp just hit as Daniel over here confirmed. So we had a higher high right here. Sell signal, broken close, past pivots 1 and 2. Entry would have happened right here. you go for a 1030 split, full TP off a high-low momentum scalp. So if you guys took the high-low momentum scalp, full TP right there. Again, there's different strategies that you guys can apply. You know, there's certain people in the group who like to identify certain entries. Like Daniel typically looks for the high-low momentum scalp. You know, you'll see Vince look for some V1 variations. And I mean, there's different entries you guys can take. But for these live sessions, our official strategies that I'm personally applying are going to be the high-low scalp V2, which is going to be this one right here. That's going to be the first one. And for the second one over here, the momentum pullback scalp. These are the two main strategies that I'm applying here that are official on the live session. If any other entries come up, I'll mark them up and I'll let you know when they come up, but I'm not going to be taking them myself. You know, my game plan here is to focus on these two strategies, and they've been working very well for the past, you know, 3 or 4 months. So I'm going to keep sticking to the game plan. Even though market's in a range here, and I'll bounce with the market. So it'll come back, you know, right? For the past 2 weeks, it's been ranging super heavily, but it's going to come back. The market always trends. It always trends. It always ranges. It always consolidates. It always retraces back to where it needs to be. So the market always goes through about 4 different cycles, right? It goes into a directional trend. It goes into a range. It goes into a pullback, it goes into consolidation, and then back into a trend. So we just went through the range phase. You know, we'll see here if price starts to move in another direction. But again, we just have to wait for this to play through. Randy said breakout hit stop loss, momentum counter scalp hit TP, opening candle had momentum. Yeah, it did, Randy. So that's why I counted that one there, or I didn't count it, but I just basically identified it. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking for over there. Let's see, Gian sent me a screenshot of the candle here. Yeah, Gian. So look, Gian sent me a screenshot of his MT4. That's the right entry, Gian. So if you look over here, I don't know, like, so Gian, that's a proper entry. That did hit TP. So let me go over here real quick. It's fine, guys. There's no entries for us to take. I just want to show Gian real quick because your candles are proper. It's just one candle looks a little different. This one right here looks slightly different, but the candle is the same size. So even with your setup right there, it still hits TP. So if you mark it up, you know, your entry would happen right here on the green candle, right? So if you entered a short position right there, 25.10, it's like literally impossible for you to hit stop loss right here, Gian. So it hits, right? Look at your screenshot. It's literally impossible for it to hit stop loss. In order for it to hit stop loss, the candle would have to come up here, right? So yeah, so yours is fine. The candles it's just one candle that's like slightly different. But if you look at this candle right here, it's the same exact size as this one right here. It's just a different color because it doesn't vary by that much. Like, see your candle right here, it's a green candle, but it's the same size. You look at your screenshot over here, same size. It just shows that the body's different. But in order for it to hit stop loss, it would have to be like way up here, right? So it wouldn't hit stop loss. It would have went to TP. Your candles look fine. It's just this one candle right here, which is red, but it's the same exact size. So I think you're fine, Gian. I don't think you have to worry about your candle sizes. It's just the candle just looks different, but it wouldn't be far enough to push up to the stop loss. Thanks for showing the screenshot though. I wanted to make sure because I don't want people to be taking trades if like their candles are way different. So yeah, thanks, Gian, for sending us that screenshot to confirm. All right, so back to our analysis over here, guys. There's nothing for us to take here, so it's completely fine. We just got to wait for the market here to kind of stabilize a bit, but it looks like price might be coming back down. You can see price came back to retest the opening price down here, and we'll see if, you know, if it ranges from this area, if it breaks below, or if it, you know, climbs back up. So two different scenarios here that can play out. Price will bounce off, correct back up, or 3 scenarios actually. So scenario 1 is price bounces up off the opening price and corrects back up. Scenario 2 is price breaks below and continues climbing down. And lastly, scenario 3 is price just continues to range around this area, which is what's been happening for the past 2 weeks, which is the worst market condition you could trade in because there's nowhere to really take entries within this area. It turns out to be a lot of luck that comes into play when you're trading in a situation like that. So anyways, there's no entries over here. We are still looking for any confirmation of trend. So we don't have a confirmation of trend yet, but we'll see. Let's see if retail sentiment has changed at all. Retail sentiment is currently the same. There's no change here. So it does not look like any retail traders are currently getting in and out of the market. They're kind of just stuck where they're currently at. A lot of the movement here is based off the market makers and institutions. They're just spiking price around real quick, trying to lure in some retail traders onto one side. This here could be another fake out. Price might come down slightly, fake out, and come all the way back up. So just be careful with that, because you don't want to be caught in traps like that, especially during this type of market where there's a lot of uncertainty as to where price is going to be going. So other than that, there's no liquidity sitting down, or there was a liquidity down here below. I think I accidentally deleted it. It wouldn't really matter because it was a low level anyways. So the next level of liquidity down below here is going to be at 34,120. I probably wouldn't take it personally, because I think price is going to correct back up. 136. Thanks, Daniel, for letting me know. Yeah, I think it was like somewhere. It was on like this level right here, or this one actually. Yeah, it was a low level one too. So it's retesting the second level right there, guys. Here goes the second test right there. Again, I wouldn't really recommend taking any sells right here until like there's a confirmation of a shifting trend. But if it does continue to drop lower, there's another lower level below it. If you guys are looking at that, the trend here is shifting, but it's not confirmed yet. So it's starting to shift, but it hasn't confirmed at this very moment. Once we have a confirmation of that, we'll start looking for any possible entries. But right now, at the moment, we just don't have anything right now. All right. So we just got to wait and see. It's really just a waiting game here, guys. I wouldn't recommend forcing anything, of course, especially with this type of movement in the market. You don't want to get caught in the fake out. Yeah, Maddie confirmed it's 63 short still. Yeah, Maddie said this just might be a lure for sellers. I see that too. Let's take a look at the fundamentals real quick. They've changed. Fundamentals over here. Nope, they're pretty much flat. All right, so there is nothing here for us to take, nothing here to really look at. We got the bearish trend hasn't confirmed yet. So we're looking for this red pivot to cross over the orange or yellow. Once it crosses over that pivot, we can start to look for some sells here, but at the moment, we just don't have a confirmation. This might be a fake out, and then it might just swing all the way back up. So you can see how price broke below the structure right here. This can be easy fake out, and it'll probably just come right back up to open, right? So just be aware of the fake outs. I like using money to just feel out the market, right? Because if we see the market ranging a lot today on Monday, then we're probably going to get a range throughout the week. If we get some directional push on Monday, then we're going to get some directional push through the week. Right here, you can see the fake out. Just remember this move here, because in the future, this is probably going to play out again. So you just got to keep that in mind. If you see a fake out here, just look for this pattern, or remember this pattern, because this pattern is probably going to happen again tomorrow. It's probably going to happen on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc. So I think this is going to be a key thing to pay attention to. We need to see whether price fakes out or whether it continues dropping. So price comes down, fakes out, and then continues dropping, because that's probably what's going to happen the rest of this week. If you guys remember last week or like 2 weeks ago, I took a loss on a Monday. It's because I got caught in a fake out like this. And then every day that week, the same pattern just repeated itself. So I like using days like this to just get a feeler for the market and then understand, you know, what to expect for the next couple days. So I'm going to see how price reacts to the structure right here. And then we'll see. Let's see, Daniel said momentum pullback scalp hit, but he didn't take it. Yeah, it happened super quickly. Yeah, so we had a sell signal right here. The trend started to shift. Or actually, I don't know if I would take that entry right there, Daniel. It was like, yeah, it was like way too close. I think you could still have a setup. Probably. Yeah, I'd probably just wait for the next setup. I wouldn't count this one here because it happened like literally when it crossed. So there's still opportunity for it. We'll follow through and we'll see if it, you know, comes up. But if not, then obviously not going to force anything here. But yeah, I think I'll start looking for any possibility of another setup here. I just don't like that prices in this area. I wouldn't take this trade actually, because we're still looking to see how price reacts to this zone down here, right? So if it drops, then great. If it doesn't drop, then expect fake outs to happen. So this is actually a nice continuation right here. If you guys can see, it's a pretty good continuation. There's actually a setup right here for a high-low scalp V2 as well, but it happened after the cross. So I obviously wouldn't fit the criteria here. So it crossed right here, but the retracement happened right here. So it's the same thing with the momentum pullback scalp. It happened like right at that cross area. So I'd be careful, but you know, if something comes up, I'll mark it up. So if the entry comes up here, I'll mark it up for you guys, but I'm not going to be taking it myself. Just a heads up. But yeah, it looks like this one here is playing out as well. There was no confirmation though, so I wouldn't really mess with it. ATR is currently it's currently 17 right now. So I probably, if you were to go for this, I'd probably go for 2020. I think for the most part, I would look at the ATR and then I would base it off the basically the closest number. So right now it's currently at 17. I would round it up to 20. If it was at like 23, I would round it up to 25, etc. Yeah, I'm not in any of these positions right here, guys. I'm actually going to take it off because I don't want you guys to be taking risky positions like that. I want you guys to make sure that you actually confirm all the criteria. This right here is just, it happened right at the cross, so I wouldn't count that as an entry. This right here now, if another trade comes through, this would be an actual entry. The only problem with this is that price is ranging, right? You can see how price is going back and forth right here. This is what you don't want to trade in. And the buy signal came up just like Maddie mentioned. So Maddie said also looks like a buy signal might come up soon, which it was pending right there, and then it failed. So if you guys are looking to take the momentum pullback scalp, there's technically an entry right here. If you guys want to enter right here at the 40 mark, I wouldn't recommend taking it because price is currently in a range. But if you guys do want to take it, it's now currently filled and running in profit. So we had that retracement right there. Price pulled up to the 40 mark right here. When price pushed up like it did right now, it just filled it. It's now currently active, not in the position. I'm following it, but I'm not in the position. So it's just too much of a mess right here. It's not a good area to be trading in at the moment. Whenever price is in a range like this, I've learned my lesson. I lost a trade trading in a range about 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to get caught in that trap again. So that's a key thing with trading, guys. When you guys trade and when you guys lose, make sure that you guys understand the loss so that you guys don't get caught in that same, that same type of fake out again. That's exactly what happened to me 2 weeks ago. So trade's currently running right now. I'm not in the position. This is not going to count as an official trade because I'm not in it, but we are going to follow it. We'll see where it goes. And I'll wait for the market here to kind of stabilize a bit and have some sort of direction. Going back to our clean chart. All right, so this is exactly what we were waiting for, right? I was looking to see if price was going to fake out. If price fakes out like it just did right here, well, it just faked out. It did exactly what we were waiting for. So price was ranging right here. I mentioned price is either going to go up and fake out or it's going to come down and continue, right? So what happened here? Price faked out and it looks like we have another ranging market this week. So the thing to look out for here is to look out for the ranges because the ranges are probably going to be fake outs. If you guys want to take the opposite side and maybe take a speculative trade in the opposite direction, you guys can do that. So if you say, for example, price pushes up, it gets to this area up here again, it does that same range, you can probably take speculative trade back to the downside, right? Because you already know that pattern is going to play out. So typically use Monday to just analyze the market, kind of figure out what the market's going to do this week. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that's going to happen. That's why I call it speculative, because you don't know if it's always going to fake out. You know, sometimes price might actually break through and continue climbing. On the other hand, price might fake out just like you anticipated. So it looks like price is just in this range right now. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said getting a glimpse of the market this week. That's exactly what I'm trying to get across. Because that's what I've started to notice a lot lately, you know. I mean, I already kind of noticed it in the past, but I didn't really dial in on this type of pattern until recently, because I took that loss and I learned from that loss. So I knew that, okay, this pattern is something that just keeps repeating itself, or it just reoccurs throughout the week. So this here might indicate that, so again, price is back into the range right here. This might indicate that we might look for a double fake out. So price might come down, fake out back down, and then correct, right? Or this might just be a range. So let me see if I can make some adjustments here. All right, I'm gonna get rid of this lower low, because this lower low is kind of, actually, I'll leave it there for now. And then if we want to make some adjustments and take it off, we can always take it off. I just want to leave it there because you can tell that this is a range right here. And down here, you can see that this is the actual range. But this range right here helps you identify the fake outs, right? So you can see price comes down, single fake out, double fake out, possible triple fake out right here. PC said we have news coming up. I don't think there's news today. Is there news? Let me check. I don't see any news for today specifically. Let me refresh Forex Factory. There's Canadian news coming up at 7, but nothing here for the US. Yeah, Canadian. Okay, no, it's good to know. It's weird because this right here says 8 o'clock, and this over here says 9 o'clock. Oh, never mind. Okay. I swear it said 9 o'clock earlier when we first got onto this live session. When you first logged on, I swear this said 9 o'clock, but okay, it's fine. It wouldn't matter because it's still happening at 8, so not during the live session time. But thanks, BC, for the heads up with the news right there. So some Canadian news coming up right here at 7 o'clock. Hopefully that will maybe help push the market. I don't think it will, but we'll see. Anyways, you guys can see the fake outs here. It's pretty much a repeat process of what's been happening these past 2 weeks, which is very unusual for fall season. I mean, fall trading season is usually pretty directional because we break out of these ranges from the summer, but lately it's just kind of been going sideways. You guys got to also keep in mind that there's a lot of stuff going on around the world. You know, the war in the Middle East. Yes, it says over here, over 10,000 Palestinians killed in Gaza. So there's the war going on there. We have the elections coming up soon. Everyone's forecasting Trump to win the election. So we'll I mean, I guess we'll see. All right, so there's nothing going on here, guys. It's a typical back and forth movement that we've been seeing for the past couple of weeks. This is a horrible market to trade in. Okay, we'll try to make the best of what we can make here. I don't know what we're going to be able to do here because this is not a good market to trade in. Of course, we're not going to force any trades. So the momentum pullback scalp hit TP here, guys. I'm not sure if anybody took it. We did mark it up for you guys here. We have price push down, retracement, entry happened right here, went into some slight drawdown, and it went straight down to full TP. So if anybody caught the momentum pullback scalp. It hit full TP right there. I'm not going to count this as an official entry because I did not take the trade. I only count the trade that I take myself. So this right here, entry was valid, but I didn't take it. So I'm not going to count as an official entry for today. But if you guys took it, nice profit. Looking over here, Valentine got one profit here. Total profit of 499 for the day. All wins. Nice work right there, Valentine. Add that over here to our team profits for the day. We have Kenny over here as well. Total profit of 2,140. Nice work, Kenny. We've got Barack over here. Total profit of 3,653. Nice work, Barack. All wins. And then I'll add Valentine's profits over here as well. All right, guys, if you guys have a profit to post up, feel free to send them in. Otherwise, we'll continue looking for any possible entries here. At the moment, there's nothing for us to take, but we'll see. We currently have a sell signal here, currently have a buy signal pending. So depending if this closes, we'll have to see what happens next. But I mean, realistically, there's no entries here for us to really look at. You can see prices pretty much just going back and forth. This isn't a complete range right here. So I would be careful. I mean, if anybody's looking to take any entries here. Yeah, this is a nasty range, guys. I'm not going to take any trades right here in this area. If you guys are looking to take something, I'll mark it up for you guys if it does come through. So we currently have price breaking closing below it. I'm just worried that it's going to fake out again like it did earlier. Let me see how big this range is. I mean, the range is decent, but if price does pull back into the range, it's going to be a bit of a risk, right? So yeah, we have a high-low scalp V2 that's currently pending right here. If you guys want to take it, I'll mark it up for you guys, but I'm probably not going to take it myself. We have a possible momentum pullback scalp also setting up over here. I think a momentum pullback scalp would be a lot safer, to be honest, in my opinion. Lowest level for entry is going to be right here. So price needs to drop down a little bit lower. There's no opportunity for entry there. However, there's a high-low scalp V2 that's currently setting up right here. The ATR is currently 16, so it's very low. I probably would go for a 20-20. I mean, if you guys want to go for the full 30-30, you guys can. But I will probably, if you guys want to go for only a 20 TP, that might be it might be safer in my opinion, because the ATR is so low, the volatility is not really moving that high. So if this green candle closes above, you guys can enter the entry here for a pending order for a sell for a high-low scalp V2. If it doesn't close above it, there's no entry here. So just keep that in mind, guys. You have to wait for the actual retracement fake out candle to close. It's got about 10 seconds left on this candle. It's not looking like it's going to close here, but it may close in the last couple of seconds. So we'll follow it and we'll see where it goes. And it looks like there's no closure there. So there's no entry there for a momentum for a high-low scalp V2 just yet. Looking over here, there may be opportunity for a momentum pullback scalp, but again, this green candle needs to close below this black line. So it needs to be green and it needs to close below this black line. If it doesn't happen, there's no entry there. All right, man. Waiting game, guys. Winning game, waiting game. Let's see. We got about 30 seconds left on this candle right here. Twenty seconds. All right, if this green candle closes below this black line, there's going to be entry right here for momentum pullback scalp. If anybody's looking to take it there, I'll see if I can maybe wait for the pullback and then maybe look for entry. All right, so entry happened right here, guys. If you guys are looking to take it, let me see if I can get into this here. Hold off a little bit. All right, so I'm watching right here. Here's the momentum pullback scalp. I was looking for it to pull back so I can make entry. The high-low scalp V2 here has not settled yet, so it's not set up. However, the momentum pullback scalp is currently running in profit right now. So we'll see where this ends up going. Let me go back to our clean chart. Looks like price might come down lower from where it's currently at. So we got that running. The volatility is very low, but it is running in profit. No entry here for the high-low scalp V2. watching this right here as price continues to, it's kind of just going sideways. It's shimmying right now. Let me see this over here, clean chart. It's actually at liquidity right now too. So there's a couple confluences here, guys. There was a liquidity up here actually that got hit. I'm not sure if anybody was able to catch that. And then there's also a level of liquidity right here too, where it's currently at. Let's see, price is kind of pulling back a little bit. Let me see if I can finally get into it. Let's see if I can get my pending order in there. I was waiting for that pullback before I made entry on this momentum pullback scalp. Okay, so price kind of pulled back a little bit. I'll put a sell stop right here. If it catches, it comes back down. I probably could have got in for a discount, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to wait. So my entry hasn't filled yet. I have a pending sell stop right here, guys. Waiting to get filled. So when price comes back down, it'll fill my entry and it'll go straight down. But yeah, at the moment I don't have this filled just yet. I was waiting for this here to play through just to confirm whether it was going to actually come back down or not. So right here, we have a pending order now also for the high-low scalp V2. This is kind of what I was looking for here. I wanted to have the extra confluence for this here. I mean, this thing might even push down even lower at this point. It's got about 10 seconds left on this candle here. Here's our clean chart. Price is kind of pulling back into the range. This is what I was being careful because I don't want to be caught in this range here. So I was looking for it to kind of pull back a little bit. Hasn't filled my entry yet, guys, almost, but has not filled my entry yet right here. So I got my pending sell stop just waiting. The high-low scalp V2 is currently pending right there too. I don't know if it's filled yet, but yeah, exactly. Daniel said, man, this feels exactly like last week. Nothing's moving. Yeah, there's just no direction. It's the same thing that's been happening for the past 2 weeks now, which is really weird for November market. Because usually like this will happen closer to the holidays. It'll usually be flat until, or I mean, it'll usually be directional until we get to like Thanksgiving and stuff. But right now it just hasn't been moving around a lot. So again, my entry still hasn't filled, guys. I'm just waiting for it. I'll follow this right here. So the high-low scalp V2 is currently running in profit right now. Let's see where this is at. Yeah, so there's two entries that are currently running right now, the momentum pullback scalp and the high-low scalp V2, both currently running at the moment. The liquidity is running too. There's just three entries that are currently running concurrently with each other right now. Yeah, I'm in this one right here though, guys. So I'm in this one right here for the momentum pullback scalp. There's just no direction. It's just the market's not good right now with how it's currently moving. So I'm following this right here. There's going to be two different things here that can happen. Price either come down, hit its TP. If we get an opposite signal here, I got to pull out for a small loss. That's typically what happens with this specific strategy here. There's also the high-low scalp V2, and then there's also the liquidity that's also running. There's just three strategies running alongside of each other right here. So, but the bad part about this is that price is stuck in the range. This is exactly what I was trying to avoid, but now I'm in the position. So it's back into this range here, which is where I don't want to be. Right. So I'm hoping price dumps back down because it's just not feasible with like where I'm currently at right now at this position. So I'm hoping it just dumps back down and then it corrects. But I'm in this position with you guys now. So if anybody's in the position, I'm in it with you guys. Now we just gotta wait. It's just gonna be a waiting game here until price finally has its direction. All right, let's see if it finally comes down. I hate this market. All right, I hate this market. All right, so I'm in the position right here now. It's now in profit. Let me see where my entry came in from. The entry wasn't the best. It was all right, but it wasn't the best. It's, I pulled for a partial, guys. I can't handle this right here. I don't want to be stuck in this position. So I pulled out for a partial. If you guys want to pull out, I mean, pull out if you want. I just can't handle this range right here. This range is tripping me out. So I pulled out for a small profit right there. I locked 660. So it was like, it was moving way too like back and forth right here. I got out like around here, guys. So I was supposed to make 2,000 on the trade, make 660. Profit's profit right now. I'm gonna stick to my game plan. I'm not gonna trade within this range, guys. I just got a little FOMO here because I saw the price kind of bouncing around. I saw a lot of confluences. I saw the confluence for the high-low scalp V2. I saw a confluence here for the momentum pullback scalp. I saw a confluence here for the liquidity, right? 3 strategies in one, basically a triple confluence. I was hoping that confluence would help me just spike to my TP, but I mean, it is what it is. This market is not the best market to trade in. This will probably hit TP, but I'm happy with my partial profit for the day. It's just this, you know, you'd rather have a better peace of mind than to be stressing through this position right here, especially when there's no direction. It's still in profit, guys. So if you guys want to pull, there's still opportunity to pull. It's probably gonna hit TP, but I'm happy with what I got. I got something versus a loss, so I'm going to wait until the market starts to actually move directional, because the thing with this guy that you guys have to keep in mind is that this is only 10 pips, right? It should not take, or 100 pips. It's 10 points. It shouldn't take like 10 minutes or 5 minutes for it to hit 10 points, right? If you realistically, if you look at the direction of price or how much 10 points is, this is 10 points, right? Imagine being stuck in this position for like 10 minutes. That's going to mess with your trade psychology, and I wouldn't want to mess with it. And there you go, full TP right there. So if anybody caught it for the full TP, great work. I caught it for a partial, but we'll just give the update over here in the group just so that you guys have the markup for our official trades. The high-low scalp V2 is still currently running. I would probably be careful with the high-low scalp V2, guys. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want to take these positions, I would probably go for TPs based off the ATR. So the ATR is currently at 18 right now, or actually it's at 14. So I probably would go for a lot less. I mean, even 15 might be a good, and 15 actually already hit. Because there's just no direction. I mean, even if there was no direction, I would rather have no direction and some volatility, because if there's no direction and price is actually ranging back and forth, it's enough to hit your TP. But right now there's just no direction and there's no volatility. It's very low, plus it's moving, you know, sideways. PC said he got out at 140 pips, ATR, nice. So he went off based off the ATR, solid work right there. If you want to go based off the ATR, this is probably where you can reach your TP. But I mean, other than that, you know, price is stuck in this range right here. So it just keeps creating more and more levels right here. All right, let me just give a little update over here real quick. So here's Maddie's profits for the day. Maddie locked in 300 per account. So nice work right here, Maddie. Pretty much nice profits there. If you guys held on to it, it would have hit full TP, but you know, it's all good. It is what it is with this here. So I'll put this right here too, so that you guys can see the trades that came up. So that's the trade that came up right there. There's no entries for us to take right now. The high-low scalp V2 is still running right now. this is running for very long, guys. So if you guys are in this position, I would probably pull out for profit if and when you can, because this is now turning into an intraday trade. It's been running for about 10 minutes now. This is very long for a scalp. A scalp's supposed to run for like less than 5 minutes. It's pushing 10 minutes, which is super, super long for a scalp. Looking over here at liquidity, so liquidity got hit. All right, so if you guys took any of the liquidity trades today, pretty much every single liquidity trade hit full TP. There was one right here, full TP, full TP, full TP, full TP, about 3 full TPs there. And then there was one right here, full TP, and then another one right here. That just played through with the momentum pullback scalp. Pretty much aligned with that entry, so we had a double, triple confluence off that. The only entry that's currently still running right now is the high-low scalp V2. So if you guys are still in this position, I'd recommend pulling out in profit if you can. If you guys don't care and you're okay with your risk, then, you know, feel free to hold on to it for as long as you want. But if you're taking this with a full risk trade, then I would pull out the profit because it's too long of a hold right now at this point. And you're not supposed to be holding on to these positions for more than 5 minutes, right? Typically they hit within the initial touch, but you can see right here, price is just ranging back and forth. So with that said, let me add this to our spreadsheet for today for our official trades. We just have one official trade for today. We've basically been having just momentum pullbacks entire month because of volatility so low. So we got this right here. Full TP right there. It was a momentum pullback scalp. Entry came up. It came up at about 7:08. I'm just gonna eyeball it. So 11, 6, 23, 7:08. We'll do like 7:08. It was for a sell, win, under profit. That's pretty much it. I mean, we had 3 trades for this month so far. It hasn't been as explosive as October. Surprisingly, I thought it was going to be a lot better, but I mean, it is what it is. We just got to deal with what we can take for now. So I only took one entry for today, which is the momentum pullback scalp. However, there were about like 6 liquidity trades that came up here. There was 2 momentum pullback scalps, and then obviously this high-low scalp V2. Hopefully, you guys listened to my advice and you guys pulled out in profit, because I had a feeling something like this was going to happen here. It pulled back into the range. So if you go back to the clean chart here, it's back into the original range up here. So hopefully you guys listened to my advice when I mentioned to pull out in profit, because if you didn't, you're now in some drawdown. So it's all good. I mean, if you guys are still in a position, I mean, you gotta hang on to it. You gotta deal with it. But you know, just listen to my analysis, because whenever I start to see these types of movements here, I have an idea of like where it's going to go. So there's only 2 areas where price is likely to go right here. It's this top range or this lower range, right? When price was done at this lower range right here, I already had a feeling it was going to pop back up. You can kind of tell when price is going to break out of the range, right? That's why I kind of give it some time base, because you can see over here, price was kind of going back and forth for about 10 minutes or so, right? What happened here? Price came down to this level. It goes up and down for about 10 minutes, right? When the 10 minutes are up, price is going to break out to the upside, or it's going to break out to the downside, right? You don't want to play a game of chance. You want to play a game of skill. So if you know this is going to happen, you're better off pulling out the profit than holding on to it and kind of praying that it's going to go in your direction, right? Because you can't really time the market like that, especially during a range. But I think a good rule of thumb is about 10 minutes. When price is in a range, if you count like about 10 candles, it's probably going to break out. And then again, another 10 candles, and it's probably going to break out. So between this area right here, from this big candle to here, you can see there was 15 candles. So it was about overdue for the breakout to happen, and the breakout happened to the upside. So other than that, I mean, the trade's still running, but hopefully everybody's out in profit already. We'll continue looking for the next opportunity here. There's nothing for us to take here at the moment, but we're going to wait for that next opportunity to come up here. As we wait for that, I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot of my profits here, and then we'll continue on with our analysis for today. Oh, it's weird. So my freaking personal account didn't execute the trade. Fix that. Well, that sucks. I'm curious, why did it not execute the trade? Open not executed. Okay. Bot size is just wrong. That's all good. Sorry, mother trades. Take it as well. All right, so you guys will see that my my FTMO accounts are slightly different. I merged my accounts into 200K accounts. So I have two 200K accounts now, and I have like two separate challenges that are kind of just pending until I don't want to remind people what I'm doing, but yeah, I just got some backup accounts basically just chilling. So for the week so far, here are my profits. I try to organize them a little better so it's easier for me to just go over them, but I don't know, Social Trader Tools doesn't really let you organize how they're at. They're just kind of organized the way they want to do it. All right, so here we go with the correction back to the upside. With that correction right there, we're gonna go and wait for here, I'm gonna document this trade. Even though this trade lost, I'm gonna document it into our spreadsheet so that we understand that price was in a heavy range. So this entry came up at 707. $11.6, 707. That trade was running for a long time, almost 20 minutes. So hopefully everybody pulled out for profit, you know, when I warned you guys to, because that trade was running for way too long. Direction that is anticipated. All right, so I got this marked up right there. Let me go over my profits real quick with you guys before we start looking for any other entries here. There's nothing for us to take here. We need to wait for the trend here to confirm. So once the trend here is confirmed, we can start looking for another opportunity for entry. But yeah, as of now, there's nothing for us to take here. If price switches up, then that's fine. We'll look for some buys. We were looking for buys anyways today because of the retail sentiment. Let me take a look at that as well. Retail sentiment looks like it has not changed at all. Still the same, 63% short. So we're just going to wait, and price will probably correct back up to where it's supposed to go, but we'll see. Anyways, looking at my profit so far, guys, for the day. So let me copy this over real quick. All right, so here are my profits for the day so far. This first account over here is my funded engineer account, locked in at 320. This is my first FTMO, locked in 380. My second FTMO, 380. This is my third FTMO, 660. My fourth FTMO, 960. This is my funded engineer number 2 account, total profit of 130. My personal account locked in 0. It didn't execute the trade, unfortunately. And then my TFF, it locked in 365 per account. So these are all my profits for the day so far. And it was just a partial profit. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of moments or so if we can find another entry here. But at the moment, we just don't have a confirmation of direction of trend and any opportunities here for any real entries. We got some more profits here from Andreas. He took the sell with us earlier, total profit of 180 for the day. So nice work right there, Andreas. He said he got in for a bad entry, so he pulled out early, which is completely fine. You know, it's better to pull out for profit than to risk it. So these are Andreas's profits for the day. And then we have Barack over here, total profit of 6,538 for the day. All wins here. Nice work, Barack. All right, so that's pretty much it for now, guys. If you guys have more profit to post up, feel free to send them in. I'm looking at where price is currently moving right now. It's not really moving at all. The candle is actually frozen. As you guys can see, this green candle right here, it's not really moving too much, which is not a good sign. The ATR is just super low right now, guys. So unless the ATR picks up, there's not really going to be much of there's not going to be any momentum pullback scalps. As you can see over here, ATR must be 15 or above. So unless we start to get a higher ATR and volatility here, there's not going to be any entries for a momentum pullback scalp. No confirmation of trend yet. Again, we just have a slow market. Price is back into this upper range. There's another zone right here. There's so many zones here, guys, as you guys can see. Yeah, it's basically the same market conditions that have been playing through for the past couple of weeks, which is horrible. I mean, this sucks. Usually after NFP or like after a bad week like that, there's usually like 1 week where it's ranging because like the market typically moves in a cycle throughout the month, right? It looks like it might be moving in quarters now. So I'm hoping the winter doesn't stay ranging like this because these are normal conditions for like say the holidays. So like say for example, the week of Thanksgiving, right? This is how the market typically moves, or the week of Christmas, or the week of New Year's. The market typically moves like this, where there's not very much direction; it just goes sideways. You can see where price is currently at right now. It's at this blue line right here, right? This blue line is baseline. So if you see price come back to this area, this pretty much just indicates that this over here never really happened, right? So if price pulls back to this area where it opened at, this over here is basically manipulation, fake out. And then price came back down over here for correction, manipulation, fake out. So it's like this stuff never really happened and price kind of just ended up coming back to this area. Because if you look at the fundamentals haven't changed at all, right? They're back to 24 points like it did on open. The reason why I'm looking at this here and why I'm explaining this is because a lot of people who trade, who are not scalping or day trading, they're looking for this here to have a big increase, right? So say, for example, you enter a trade here on open. Say the market opens here at 6:30 and you're like, oh, market's going to be bullish today. So you just take a buy and then you hold on to that position all day. If you're looking at your your P&L, you're like, okay, nothing's even happened today. But realistically, if you look closer, a lot has happened today, right? Price pushed up, faked out, came back down, faked out here, and it's back at opening price. So for the investors, they're looking at this like nothing has happened, but realistically, there's been a lot of manipulation within the past hour from open price until now. But then realistically, they're just seeing prices right down the middle. So just keep that in mind, guys. I've been looking at things at a bigger macro aspect now because I've been like meeting with a lot of these finance guys in my area. So I do live in the financial district here in Orange County. So like we talk about this stuff. They don't day trade or they don't even open charts, but they do long-term investments. And it's funny because sometimes they'll be like, oh, did you catch that big push for the Dow? And we were on the live session on like last week and it was actually dropping. So I was like, what big push? And he mentioned that like at the end of the day, price was bullish. And I was like, oh, okay. Because like during the entire day, it was actually going down. And we only trade from 6:30 to 8. So we only see what happens between this period here versus, the swing traders who hold on to the position for the entire day. So there's just different ways to trade, guys. And like, just a reminder, you don't have to trade one way. As long as your way is profitable, I would stick to it. Like, for example, Gian here, right? Gian doesn't really apply all the strategies here that we're applying. He has his own variation to what he applies and it works for him. So, what I always tell him is, stick to what works for him because everybody trades differently. So there's no entries here for us at the moment, guys. There's nothing that you guys are missing out on. We're kind of going off on a tangent here, but there's no confirmation of trend, so it wouldn't really matter. We need this red pivot to cross below the orange pivot. Once that happens, we'll be able to start looking for some buys here. Same with, the momentum pullback scalp here. There's no entries for us to take here until there's a confirmation of trend. So you just got to sit tight, guys. Since we do have the Fed speaking at 8 o'clock, we're probably going to cut out like maybe about 10 to 15 minutes before 8 o'clock because there's just no reason for us to force any trades here. When Fed Cook starts to speak, you're probably going to get some manipulation before he starts speaking and then also after. So I don't know what he's going to be speaking about. Obviously, the obvious, inflation, interest rates, etc. But I don't know in particular what he's going to be speaking on, because we have Fed members speaking every day this week. So we have Fed Cook speaking today. Tomorrow we have Fed Barr, Fed Jeffrey, Fed Waller, Fed Williams, Fed Logan. On Wednesday, we have Fed Cook speaking again. Fed Powell is going to speak on Wednesday regarding the inflation rate, the inflation, interest rates. This is Fed week, guys. So I just realized that this is Fed week. So I think a lot of people, I think that's why the market's going sideways right now. So now it's starting to make a lot more sense. The reason why the market's kind of going sideways right here is because the Fed's going to speak right here at 8 o'clock. Once the Fed speaks, they're going to discuss, inflation, recession, interest rates, etc. And they're going to build up until Wednesday. Wednesday is the actual big Fed day, because that's when Powell speaks. So Powell's going to speak over here on November 8th, Wednesday at 6:15 pre-market. It's gonna create some craziness in the market, because he's going to be talking about the interest rates. They're supposed to raise the interest rate this month. They didn't raise it last month, or they slightly did, but not during Fed week. And this is pretty much what's building up to. So the Fed member is going to speak pretty much every day. And then on Wednesday, Fed Powell is going to speak pre-market. This is actually interesting that he's speaking pre-market, because he usually speaks in the afternoon. But if he's speaking pre-market, it's usually going to be pretty big, and it's going to throw off the market. So we'll see. But okay, it makes sense why the market's just ranging right here, because they're just waiting for the Fed to speak over here at 8 o'clock. So we're probably not going to expect too much to happen from here until 8, guys. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll keep looking for entries here, but I'm not really expecting too much. So we're really just waiting for the trend here to shift. Once the trend shifts, then we'll see what happens from there. And then from there, we're going to push and wait for the direction to confirm. But if it doesn't and it comes back down, then we just got to wait for the trend to shift this way, right? Yeah, exactly. Patricia said this market sucks. It definitely does. It's weird, Patricia, right? Because you've been with me for a long time, so you know how the market should be moving right now. I mean, you've been trading with me for years, so like this market should not be ranging like this on November 6th. It should be climbing, actually, because like towards like the end of the year, we have this big bullish climb. It happens every year. This year, it's like, I don't remember it ever ranging this hard early November. Yeah, exactly. Patricia said she's never seen this before since she's been trading. Yeah, I agree. Same here. I mean, I see this during the summer. This looks like summer market conditions or like holiday market conditions, but not, middle of the season. We're still like 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, so it should be moving directional. Yeah, exactly. Patricia said we need the press to move the markets. We need Trump back in house, right? I think next year, guys, the market will be moving a lot more volatile because of the presidential election. And then if Trump becomes president again, it's going to be super volatile, because Trump is going to be, he's going to be, it's crazy because like, a lot of people kind of joked around about Trump kind of like shaking up the market before he was president. But when he was president, he actually did shake up the market. And I think I made like, well, not as much now because now I have multiple accounts, but back then, like single accounts, I used to make a lot of profit from just whenever Trump would say anything. Because like sometimes price would be ranging like this, and we already know Trump's going to be speaking at like 8 o'clock, right? Price will be ranging like this, and as soon as he comes on, it just starts climbing like super heavy. And everybody knew that, so it was like easy to make money in the market. But we'll see. Let me scroll up real quick. Alan had a question. He said, I see you have zones on your charts. What do they mean? The zones here. Alan, are you talking about the clean chart? I think you're talking about the clean chart because I don't have any other zones here. Unless you're talking about these. These are liquidity, but the zones here are, I mean, they're literally zones. That's just what they are. They're zones and they identify rejection points. So they're basically support and resistance for the most part. Yeah. So these zones here are just support and resistance. I use the high-low indicator right here. I mark them up at the higher highs and lower lows. That's pretty much the only areas where I mark them up at. So you can see over here where price kind of bounces. We have a lower low. I draw the zone right there. This identifies the bottom basically. Price bounces back up, comes back down, lower low, zone right there. I don't overlap them. So like if they have two lower lows in the same area, I'll keep the original one because then you can see the fake out from there. So you can see how price establishes a floor there, price fakes out, and then it comes right back up. So generally they're just support resistance. And I mark up my support resistance at the lower lows and the higher highs. Yeah, pretty much. If you go on the higher time frames, they're even stronger. So if you go like on say the 4-hour time frame, like see how it's super strong. The higher time frame, the higher the time frame, the stronger the zone. So what I would recommend is if you want to draw these zones here yourself, go from a top-down analysis if you like, open the high-low indicator. You can just turn on higher high and lower low only so that they only show up. If you have this turned off, it shows all the high lows, so the lower highs, higher lows, etc. But if you just want higher highs and lower lows, you click on that, and then it'll give you basically the top and bottoms. So if you want to trade support resistance, like for all the support resistance traders out there, I think this is probably the best way to identify support resistance because it pretty much takes out all the noise. But yeah, that's pretty much all it is, Alan. I just draw it specifically to identify structure. So it's not necessary because if you take them off, so let's say, for example, I take them off the chart kind of just looks like it's moving directional, right? But since I mark those zones up on the chart, you can see the structure. So you can see how price kind of breaks into this area. It's in a range, breaks below, it's in a range, comes back up, it's back into this range. Same range that I drew earlier, right? So I drew these zones like a while back, like way over here, and price is now back into the range right here, which it typically respects. So yeah, for some of you guys who like to trade zone to zone, this is a great way to draw up your zones. So for example, here, if you guys ever traded there was the zone strategy that I used to apply like way back. Whenever price breaks past structure with a buy signal. So I know a lot of you guys remember the strategy because I used to call all the signals with this specific strategy. So like, for example, we had a buy signal right here, price broke and closed past it right there. You could have taken, a buy entry and then roll that up to the next zone right there. So if you guys remember when I used to call Forex signals, this was the only strategy that I would apply. However, I did it on the 4-hour time frame. So I never did it on lower time frames, but I mean, it works on lower time frames too. Like for example, here, price breaks past the zone right here. You'd also have to confirm the trend too. So for example, the trend's bearish. See how price breaks past the zone. Short position right there. Right to the next zone. And obviously, it's not going to be as accurate here on the lower time frames, but it works. So, all right, let's see if we finally have a trend here. So the trend's starting to shift, guys, finally. We'll see if we can finally maybe get at least one entry here before we get off this live session. Right, so the trend started to shift right here. If this candle closes right here, there may be an entry here for a momentum pullback scalp at the 60 mark. If anybody's looking to take it right there. Oh, never mind, guys. I take it back. The ATR is 11. Thanks, Randy. Huge thanks to Randy right here. I was almost getting tempted to take the trade here, but the ATR is currently at 11. Yeah, I'm not expecting any entries to come up anytime soon, guys. ATR must be at 15 in order for us to have entry right there. But the volatility here is extremely low. So a big thanks to Randy right there for checking me on that before I fall mode into this trade. All right. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll continue to look for some possible entries here, but I'm not really expecting too much. So if we don't see anything here in the next couple of minutes, we're just going to wrap it up. If you guys have profits to post up, feel free to send them in. What I'll do right now is I'll start taking individual screenshots of my profits while we wait for something here to happen. There's nothing here happening, so let's see where this ends up taking us. Got that. All right, so there's a possible entry here for a high-low scalp V2. I wouldn't recommend taking it, guys, because the ATR is extremely low. You can see it's currently at 12, so there's no volatility right now. If you guys want to take it, if you want to take it, you got to go for like a really small TP, because the ATR is so low right now. So if you want to take it, I probably would go for this TP right there. Probably go for a 2020 range, or even 25-25. Or even get out of the 100 right here. So I'll mark it up for you guys right there, but I'm not going to take the trade. I'm also not going to take the momentum pullback scalp. There's no entry here. We have the setting up right here, but there's no entry for us to take because of the volatility. It's currently at 11 ATR. It's just getting lower and lower. So in order for us to have an entry here, this needs to be at a minimum of 15 ATR. So I'll mark it up for you guys there. I'm not taking the trade. I don't recommend anybody take it, but we'll, I guess we'll follow it. Let's see. Alan's asking if there is a mentoring session today. So no mentoring session today, guys. I'm changing it to once a month now because it's just unnecessary unless like you guys like really want it. If you guys want a mentoring session, just reach out to me and I'll schedule one for you guys, and we'll do a group session. But for the most part, we're not really doing anything new right now, so there's not really a need for it. So no session for today. I can probably do one if you guys want one this week. Check my calendar. Yeah, if you guys want a mentoring session this week, I can probably do one on Thursday or Friday. If not, we can do one next week. But we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna do the mentoring sessions once a month now. We used to do them weekly, but like most of the time there just wasn't much of an audience there because like there's nothing to cover since we've pretty much been doing the same thing for the past couple months. So yeah, no class for today, Alan. But if you want one this week, just let me know. We can have one either on Thursday or Friday, or if not, we can have them next week. I do want to have them at least with you guys once a month, just so that we can have a regroup and you guys have any questions. But I think the mentoring sessions are good when we have new stuff to cover, or if there's anything different that we've changed. But I'm available, guys, so just let me know, and we'll be able to set that up. I forgot what I was doing. Sorry. Okay, I was taking a screenshot of my profits. Okay, so this entry here never filled, guys. This is the high-low scalp V2. Price came up, came back down. There's a pending order now here for a buy. So if anybody's looking to take it, if it does swing back up, you'll have opportunity there to take the trade. Looking over here at the momentum pullback scalp, there's no entry there because it doesn't meet criteria. You need to have at least a 15 ATR. We might have to add that criteria to something like the high-low scalp V2 as well, because this thing is just not, even if it fills, it's probably not going to go to its full TP. It might just continue ranging from where it's at. Let's take a look at the clean chart. Clean chart over here, as you guys can see, is back at, I think there might be a new range right here. Let me see. I mean, this thing is a mess. So just looking at this right here, guys, you guys can see that. Let me take the momentum. Sorry, that's what's throwing me off. Yeah, so anyways, looking at the clean chart right here, it's just faking out. So you can see how price fakes out. Like if you didn't draw a range up here, it's just a fake out, right? So faked out right there, and it just comes right back down to opening price. So again, price hasn't really gone anywhere. Maddie's asking for the zones you drop. Yeah, they're only higher highs and lower lows, Maddie. I don't draw any high lows. I draw high lows if there's like no lower lows or higher highs nearby, but for the most part, that's what I use. So I just take off all the noise. If you drew them at the other levels, there'd be so many levels there, right? So that's why I only focus on the important ones, which are the higher highs and lower lows. However, sometimes there's not going to be higher highs or lower lows in the area. So if that's the case, then if I just want to drop structure, then I'll draw at the other levels. But today it's actually pretty clean, so we don't really need those other levels there. And here we go, as price comes back down. So there's no entry here for a high-low scalp V2, guys. Price is starting to tumble back down. ATR is still pretty low. It's currently at 12, so it wouldn't really matter. There's no entries for us here at the moment. So let me finish taking screenshots of my profits, and then I think we're gonna wrap this up for the day, guys. So again, guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. Unfortunately, this market here is just ranging pretty much all day today. So there really wasn't too much for us to work with. I was hoping it would be better because of the market conditions last week, but it didn't really get any better. It just kept it stuck to how it was. All right, got this marked up. Got all my screenshots taken. I'm gonna go and post my profits across individual accounts real quick. And if there's no other questions, we're just gonna wrap it up for the day. All right, so here are my profits for the day, guys. ATR is currently at 12, so I think we're gonna wrap this up. There's just nothing for us to take here at the moment. So here are my individual profits for the day. Here is my funded engineer account. This is my first one, total profit of 320. So funded engineer 1. Here's my first FTMO locked in 380. FTMO 1. My second FTMO total profit of 380 as well. Here is my third FTMO total profit of 660. Here is my fourth FTMO total profit of 960. Here is my second funded engineer account, total profit of 130. Here's my TFF locked in 400. And my second TFF total profit of 400 as well. So those are all my profits across all my accounts. I mean, they're just partial. I didn't really lock in the full TP, but this was the trade that we took, the momentum pullback scalp. It took forever, pulled out at about halfway to be safe. But there's just nothing for us to really mark up here. Everything's kind of, yeah, Patricia said too close to the Fed speech now. That's exactly why I'm logging off as well, because there's no reason to trade right now when the market's going to start to be manipulated before the Fed starts speaking. Alan's asking ATR should be at least 15. Yeah, at least 15, because if your TP is 10, you want the market to be moving at least 15 points to hit your TP. So ATR, like the general consensus is 15 ATR for pretty much any entry. If your TP is going to be 100 pips, then the ATR should be around 15, because anything below that, you're going to just be going sideways for a very long time. And it probably won't hit your TP at all, kind of like what happened earlier this morning. So yeah, 15 ATR is going to be the minimum. Like William mentioned, the FTMO spread is down to 150. Yeah, it's down because there's no the market's just kind of not moving at all. So it's pretty tight right now. Since the market's super tight, they can't have a wide spread because it's going to be impossible for people to get in and out of the market. So Alan's asking, Sean, other than FTO and Henko, what other brokers do you use? So I don't use Henko anymore. Henko doesn't work well with my copier. It's a good broker if you use it standalone, but it's not a good broker for the copier. So I'm using FTMO, Funded Engineer. For my personal account, I'm using Hero FX, and I'm also using TFF. That's pretty much it. FTMO, Funded Engineer, TFF, and then for my personal account, I'm using Hero FX, which has been good. I've been making withdrawals of about 1,000 every week, just to see how consistent they are. And they're they pay out pretty quickly. They pay out like within a couple hours. So I think they're good for now, but I mean, I can't recommend them yet. I got to use them for a couple months before I start using, if I start recommending them, because I only recommend stuff that I personally use and that I trust. So, all right, guys, it's 7:51. There's no entries for us to take here. ATR is very low. We have the Fed speaking at 8 o'clock. So if you guys don't have to trade, which I'm pretty sure nobody here has to trade, I would just call it a day. Wrap it up for the day, come back tomorrow fresh, and hopefully throughout the week, the market will start to move a bit more directional. But as you guys can see over here from the clean chart, price is right back to opening price. So it's like market has not done anything. It's just a bunch of manipulation back and forth and return back to baseline. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise,